I think I'm going to paraphrase your question. It was something along those lines. Like basically, what's the next question you asked? How much weight did you lose? How much weight did you use?
How many sizes?
So there are, well, we'll go by weight. So we have to describe this as many ways as we can right now. And based on the responses you guys gave me earlier, I heard 4. There was an average, a median, a mode, and a sample standard deviation. 3 of those will come at you for free by running 1-bar stats. Remember 1-bar stats? You can say no, of course. So, and this is the beauty of having this stuff on video too. You can go back and look up whatever you need. You can kind of scroll through.
What's the symbol for mode in 1-bar stats?
I don't know. Well, there is no. It doesn't give it to you. That's why I said 3 of these 4 come at you directly. Mode doesn't. But we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that. We'll deal with that momentarily. So, give me the button pushes for getting 1-bar stats, friends. Stat.
Over to the right.
Over to the right to calc. David, thank you.
And then 1.
Number 1. Can I just press enter now?
No, you need to put L1 in there.
Yeah, you can.
No, you did enter.
Actually, you're both right. Yes, you can press enter right now, or you can put L1 in there. As long as your data is expressly in L1, you can just press enter, and it'll just do everything on L1.
I'm just curious because when you just press, you get the habit of just pressing enter.
Yes.
You have L1 and L2.
Don't worry, you will have so many data sets starting as in about 45 minutes where you have to deal with that. We'll deal with that, Raphael. I promise. I promise. Okay. So I'm going to go with sig figs if it's okay with you guys. I'm going to call that average -15, and I'm going to put the unit over here in pounds. Pounds. So, once again, we can report that the diet is working because the average weight loss is 15 pounds lost. Negative 15. It's negative 15, so that means we lost on average negative 15 pounds. Or we lost 15 pounds, I guess. I guess losing negative 15 pounds is gaining 15 pounds.
Through some confusion.
Say that again. Say that again.
2 gene sizes.
It's too. Well, depends on what you lost. See, that's something else that's tricky. It's tricky to talk about. If you lost 15 pounds,
where do you lose it?
What is it? Do you lose muscle mass?
It could just be water weight.
It could just be water weight. I mean, there's all so anyway, let's assume apples. I don't want to focus on that. I just want to focus on the raw numerical data. The median is where?
-17.
Yep. You gotta have to scroll down a little bit to find it. There he is. -17.
Yeah.
Okay, very close to the average, within 2 pounds. The mode will skip and come back to here in a second, because it's not given to you in this screen. But this guy is. And he ends up being about 16 pounds, doesn't he? So, going back to Tabitha's awesome definition of standard deviation, who wants to tell me what that 16 pounds means in context, using correct units and using the 15 pounds up there?
So,
Austin, help me.
So there's a deviation of plus or minus 16 pounds
Good. From
the average.
On.
On
Just keep saying average. On average. On average. There's a 16 pound distance. That seems weird to say it that way, but that's what it is. On average, there's a 16 pound difference between the data points and the average of X bar. Cool? Cool so far? And that's exactly what it means. I want to dive, after break, I want to dive into more what that means, because it means something else with this particular kind of data set. We'll come back to that. The mode's the only one that does not come at us on this screen, and that's okay, honestly. Here's the easiest way I found to find the mode. I mean, sometimes you can just look through the data set and discover what it is. Like the 2 6s jump out at me, but that's only because I typed them right next to each other. So I know it has a mode. So one thing that is helpful to do is press your stat button. You can put the data in order with these sorts that are here. So either sort A or sort D, doesn't matter to me. I'll go with sort A. So I'm going to grab number 2, and then just tell it which list to sort. So we'll sort list 1. Yep. This is kind of like sort data or data analysis in Excel, same kind of thing.
This is sorting out like least to greatest?
Exactly, least to greatest. Exactly. So when you press enter, it says done, and then you have to go back and look.
So do I want to make sure that the parentheses is on the outside?
I tend to, only because when you start nesting commands, I shouldn't say when, if you start nesting commands, so just get in the habit. It's good in that habit. Okay? So stat, edit, now you've got them least to greatest, and now you can just kind of look to see. So let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 25s, 2 23s. I'm thinking 25's it, huh?
Yeah.
Negative 25?
Yeah.
There's my 6s. Yeah, negative 25s are mode. And the reason I don't worry too much about that, it is the mode, Athena, this is what I said before about how it's actually mode is the most tedious to find with technology.
Why,
Why does the TI give it to you?
yeah, why won't the TI find it?
It's
not that hard.
It's not used that often. That's the thing. It's not used that often with inferential stat, which is where quite a bit of stat gets done.
Yeah.
And in descriptive stat, very often the average pops out, which is why I think the average is at the very top of that screen. Great question, Chris. I think that's my best answer. But it's okay, because after break, I only want to focus on this guy and this guy. Not because these guys aren't worth talking about, but because this guy is inherently tied to this guy, right? That's how we calculated him, by using him. So they're inherently tied. There are versions of this for the median, but it's so specific, I don't think it's worth making you guys memorize the formula just to have a very specific 1% chance of 1% chance of using. So I want to focus on the one that you actually see quite often in the world, which is this guy.
So S will always be considered like absolute value?
Ish. Distance. Rather than saying absolute value, say distance. The absolute value is what's called the average deviation, not the standard deviation. And they're usually not off by much for certain data sets. But think of it as distance, average distances. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Please, Francesca, right? Yes.
what did you push after you pushed sort AL1?
Just enter. And then you have to go back and look at your list again. So go back to edit. Does that make sense?
Press calc, stat.
I'll tell you what, let's take 5. Anybody having tech issues, we'll deal with them. Take 5, get some air, get some water. The lights are still on. I'm excited about this. Let me turn the camera off for a moment.
No problem.